Hello, I am Marissa Madrano, and today I'll be talking about Roger's adoptive curve. I feel like I fit into it as an innovator. I grew up with the dial up internet, cell phones, instant messaging, which was the it thing. If you didn't get right onto instant messaging as soon as you got out of school, you weren't in the known crowd, I guess you can say. For the early adopters, I would have to say my grandmother because she refused to get a cell phone at first. It took a little convincing. We started to tell her the reasons why we felt it was best for her to, like, whenever she would go on trips to the nearest city, because we came from a small town, it's an hour drive there. So we would tell her, we wanted her to have a cell phone in case something happened, whether she broke down on the side of the road, got in a car accident, that she could be able to contact someone as soon as she needed someone so that, she could get the help that she needs. So my grandma, I feel like, fits into the early adopters because she's still got it. The early majority would have to be my middle school librarian. I tried my hardest to convince her in middle school that she needed to get the library into a technology realm where you didn't have to pull out those long drawers and flip through those cards to find the book that you were looking for. Um, Even though I do believe that's the best way to research nowadays, like now for this research that we're doing in session 5, we go online. We Google books, articles, stuff like that to pull our information from. Then you can push Control F and then research the word that you're looking for in that article without having to read the whole thing to make sure that's even the article you would like to use. So I believe my early majority would be my middle school librarian because she just thought that was going to be the end of the libraries, which she wasn't technically wrong because there are less libraries around, less people willing to check out books and do the hardcore research. So, but yeah, I believe she falls in that category. Late majority would be my grandfather on my mom's side, who waited until he was passing away to get a cell phone, which was sad because we didn't get to communicate with him as much as we have liked leading up to his passing. But at the very end, we got to talk to him a little bit, which was nice. But yeah, he was very non technology. Now, the laggards, it had to be my coworker Keith. He refuses to have technology. No cell phone, no internet, no TV. He just wants none of it. He wants nothing to do with it. So he would definitely have to be a laggard. I do believe at some point we're going to get him to break to buy a cell phone because uh, being able to contact his family and grandkids and stuff like that is kind of difficult for him. When conversing with these different people in categories, there's not a lot of difficulty in the first 3 categories, but as you get into the last 2 categories, the late majority and laggards, sometimes discussing like the recent news that is happening around the world or stuff that's even happening in our city, sometimes it's hard for them to know what we're talking about because they get it from like the newspaper when we get it from our cell phones, which is, direct. So sometimes like that stuff is really hard. They know nothing about social media, which I can totally understand, and I totally agree. I would be right there with them. So in all the categories where no one's an expert, we're all learning together. If we were the experts, we'd be the ones inventing the technology or helping invent it. We might have some ideas of how to improve it, but that does not mean we know all ins and outs. So asking each other questions, helping each other get through something. Like me myself, I still consider it an innovator. I still ask my children to help me when I get a new cell phone. I literally hand it to my daughter and I'm like, hey, help me. So we all get to learn. Uh, so we're all fit that in that category together. The different types of technology and features really show us the difference um, in everything that we know. The people I placed in each category fits the way that they seem to be adapting to the technology. Um, I feel like the further we get away from innovator, the longer it's taking for them to adapt. So I feel like I put them perfect in the perfect category. And if I had to change my category, I would honestly say I would like to be a laggard. It seems like Keith is so stress free. He doesn't have no care in the world, not worried about a cell phone going off or checking it or anything like that. So I feel like he has less stress because the news and everything has so much negativity. So if I had to be something, I would be a laggard. Um, and 1 Corinthians 15:33, it says, do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. I believe that fits in so well with social media because social media is not always the best. It talks about like what everyone's done wrong, gives the bad side of everything. So I do feel like that fits very well. It's social media is mostly bad company. And in Romans 12:2, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. We're all going to go through things that we need to find out on our own, what's good, what's bad. Um, technology, I believe, fits right there. I think we need to go through it to figure out what is good, what is bad, and how we can still use technology for good and keep away the bad. But that is my presentation. Thank you for listening.